Hey folks, and welcome to Woldingham Station car park in Surrey. I did a country walk from here many months ago, and I came near here when I failed on one of my summer walks in 2024. So to explain the title in a bit more detail, I'm going to revisit the kind of walk that never was. It's a bit of unfinished business, and I'm going to complete a slightly different circuit today. It's from here in Woldingham over to Caterham, to Manor Park, and a bit of a kind of loop around, and then back here, or possibly back to the garden centre for a cup of coffee and a bite to eat. Without further ado, let's get on our way. So the corner, as I mentioned in my previous video, I came way too open and crashed into, well, not this fence, but another fence. But was still able to cycle home. Little bus shelter there in Hurst Place. I didn't know there was another car park here. You've got the main station car park, and then this is a Tandridge Council run car park with almost half price after 9:15, so that's worth remembering. And we are after 9:15. It is currently 9:45, and there are a few spaces dotted around should you need to avail yourself of that if you take this walk. Thought by starting at the station car park, it kind of does this thing where I've got plans to almost join up my various walks. This little horsefield paddock affair there. Anyway, yeah, so to join up the various places that I've walked, well, as best you can anyway. I will be referring back to previous walks as I pick out certain sites. But one of those that I picked up on the previous walk in that general direction, uphill, was Woldingham Garden Village. Now, I don't know how I missed this on my research, but I found out there was a house up there called Funny Nuke, N-E-U-K, and in 1940 to 42, it was home of the Czechoslovakian military intelligence radio station. Not only that, but that's where the plot to assassinate high-ranking Nazi and architect of the Holocaust, Reinhard Heydrich, took place. So they used that as a base. And the plan was conceived there, the plot to assassinate him, and they achieved success. The operation was carried out. He was badly injured and then died in hospital from his injuries. So there's a small element of history that took place not far from here. This is Knight's Garden Centre, formerly Rosedene Nurseries, and it's a very popular garden centre in the area. So lovely large house over there where they've got the cafe, which I'm likely to visit later. I came out the footpath just up here and went up that away from my previous walk over towards the school. I seem to remember getting overtaken by a cyclist. Loads of lovely footways, cycleways and all that kind of thing around here, and lovely architecture as well. Really nice style there. They do not make them like that anymore. Watch yourself a bit at this junction. Cars come through a bit blind, eyes and ears and all that. Hallelujah Valley Road. We've got the Woldingham Golf Club over there. And we have Bug Hill here that leads up to Woldingham. And one of the walks I did, one of the country walks, starting at Blanchman's Farm, I was at the top there. I mean, you can't really see, but it was sort of looking down over where we are now. So yeah, the very top of Woldingham there. And then it just falls away really quite sharply. Maybe a bit more gentle over the back there. A lovely landscape around here. A lonely pheasant foraging. I've always admired this lovely viaduct up here. That's the Oxted line. I hope that when we come back, the sun is our friend and we can see it in a bit more glory. One of the famous coal tax posts. There we go. Plenty of those in the area. I like to highlight them. So Stewart Road, that private road goes up to Woldingham. Suckham's Hill area. Yeah, look at that. Lovely sight. My walk that never was would have come out, well, kind of ahead of us really, where Birchwood House, or the sign to Birchwood House is. Sorry, Birchwood Lodge. But I think there is a Birchwood House. Oh yes, there's a Birchwood House as well. Look, Birchwood House, Birchwood Lodge, kennels, parking. But it's not public, so it didn't happen. I have to cross here because we're out of footpath. Looking and listening. So yes, it possibly would have come down there. But it didn't happen, which is why I kind of went back on myself. But Birchwood House was once home of James Henderson Stewart. He was one of the country's best known and respected parliamentarians. Sort of ahead, as you can see the hill rising up there. I'm assuming that those are, or there are pine trees within there, and that's what I saw the other side of. I think, roughly. So we've got the Woldingham Parish boundary path, which I'm now going to take. Looks like a nice path surface. When I did that series, mainly over last year, of the monthly country walks, and there's a separate playlist for those, there was a lot of slipping and sliding, and we've generally had a drier winter, 24, 25. Famous last words, but anyway, we've generally had it drier, so I think the conditions would have been more favourable this time around. Not that mud should ever stop you from getting out and enjoying the open air. Just need the right footwear. So, yeah, Woldingham Road carries on along there. And this is going to cut the corner off, but don't worry. The Wapses Lodge area will feature. And the blue sky is starting to emerge. Some of this is a bit icy, but not dicey. So we've got Suckham Hill straight ahead. Stewart Road kind of level with where we're at now. But for now, it's this path. Some sliding happened there. What a lovely looking path. Catkins there. This is the crossing point on the A22. And even if I have to wait 5 minutes, I'm still going to get the right time to cross. But actually, visually it's very clear here, so halfway. And again up here. And I only do that once. So this Marden Lodge School here on the right. The building's got a reasonable age to it, the main building. Previously Caterham Valley County Secondary School. And thankfully schools often do that. They're able to retain the original infrastructure and add various blocks on as necessary. Now I'm going up here for a very good reason. I did a YouTube short quite some time ago, and it was really just asking a question about the shelter up here. And I don't think it was an air raid shelter per se, but there was something that wasn't there when I was here before that is there now. This is the shelter building, and this was not here when I did my filming before, because I would most definitely have noticed it, and it still looks pretty new. Where poor PC John Schofield lost his life in a tragic situation. So we've got the QR code. I'll also put the link below, and there's some information here that I found online about what happened on that terrible day in July 1974. It's all been sealed off there, the actual building. But yeah, so rest in peace, PC John Schofield. So, Tillingdown Hill, where I kind of ended my summer aborted walk, my unfinished business. So this is the parade of shops. Very different shops nowadays than there would have been, well, even 30 or 40 years ago. Serve different needs. So viewers that have not been to Caterham for a while will probably remember this as the site of Lamb's of Caterham Garage. And when that's finished, it will be Aldi. Or is it Aldi? Anyway, Aldi, I'm going to call it. Rather large store being built there. The Lidl in Caterham Valley is a bit smaller, that's now open. Not sure what their time scale is for construction, but you know, often in history I refer to what went before, and this is happening now. Nelson Villas 1897. And in terms of these wonderfully designed houses, a long time ago someone commented on one of my videos and referred to one of these, and I haven't got the house number to hand. It was buried deep in the comments. So I thought, well, one day I will come back here, highlight them. Today is that day. I don't know, I seem to remember 421, it may have been that one, but I hope you see the video and I hope you see how it is today. It looks well looked after. Well, they all do. Just this little row of houses right next to Wapses Lodge. Now my next stop is Manor Park. So I'm going to head up this way. I'm doing a big build up until we go inside Wapses Lodge, keeping you in suspense. Now this is Manor Park, once home of Woldingham Golf Club, 1897 to 1951. Because Woldingham was kind of seen as the lower part and the upper part. Talked before about the station naming and all that kind of stuff. And let's see if I can highlight what may be a clue to its golfing past. I've never actually walked over here, well, not that I can recall, but it was a 9-hole golf course and you did 2 loops of 9 to make your 18 holes. This possibly was a green, maybe a tee, because it's shelved, so you sort of came up the slope here and it's flatter here, and then there's a kind of bit of a bank and it goes up. So it's a clue for me as a golfer as to the layout of the course. It was a popular course. During the war, it was closed. In fact, there were financial challenges just prior to the war, and the council bought the course and leased it back to the club. And like much open land, it was set aside for agricultural purposes during the war itself. And on the 18th of August 1940, the hardest day, when Kenley, not far from here, took the most terrible damage, this was also severely damaged. Bombs dropped all over the place. And that, coupled with the financial pressures, meant it didn't really open. It was closed in 1951. There was talk about development at some point, and in the end it was decided and agreed that it would be an open space. And really that's what we still see today. It's a really nice space. This was Woldingham Golf Club, and now it's just known as Manor Park, open space recreation ground. I did some map analysis and found that the location of the clubhouse was right here. Now there's a mound, go back a bit so you can see. So natural with trees, and then this mound looks like sort of harder material. Potentially could be an old brick. Well, it is a brick, but it could be a brick from a building, possibly not. It's sort of raised at a consistent level, and then it falls away just along the side here. Can't really get through there easily. Nothing to see here, but there would have been, certainly 100 years ago. Not pleased to find the brick. I mean, it might have just been chuck there, but it's covered in moss. Nature does take a hold. I mean, it's hard material here, look, here. I'm no archaeologist, but they're not natural. Bricks here as well. I'm happy to be, well, confirmed or corrected, maybe, in the comments. Caterham folk. And anyone else who knows, but I'm pretty certain. Well, I know from doing the map analysis, on the maps you can take a location bearing and then apply it to a modern map, which is what I did in Apple Maps, and then just walked here. The rest of the park's just out the other side there. Nice trackway. I think this leads to the tennis club, which, well, why not, as we are here. Welcome to Caterham and Whiteleaf Tennis Club. Well, I'm glad I found it. I didn't know whether I was going to be hacking around in undergrowth, and alternatively there might have been some walls or half walls or something remaining, but I'm certain that is it, or that was it. Enough as we head back and take in Wapses Lodge. I think I read that there used to be a station, I almost want to call it a stationette, but when they were constructing the railway there was a kind of temporary station here that was attached to one of the houses. I mean, we're so near to Whiteleaf South, that would have been the main station, known as Woldingham then. Maybe I'll do a little snippet video on that when I've got my details to hand, but I'm certain I read it. For the railway folk to confirm. As you know, if you follow me, I do like to put things out for you guys to do the work, and it has been very fruitful, so I really do appreciate that. There's always things that pop up and questions that I ask along the way, so always good to know that you've got my back from that perspective. Down we go. So Wapses Lodge, first view, opened on the 1st of May 1939 with no formal fanfare or celebration. Very big dog startled me somewhat. Oh dear, how funny. It's quite unlike any other setup really, because you have the roads are all at the same level, and then this crossing point, really multi-crossing point, is sort of dug down. And there have been floods in this neck of the woods over the years, where the Bourne overflows. So yeah, it's, I don't know, it's got a sci-fi feel to it. There's walls all the way around. And then almost a launch pad or landing pad in the middle. Quite something. And that sort of top level of the wall is sort of crash barrier like for the roundabout, and the water does collect the other side of that in the heavy rain. And it deadens the sound a bit when you're down here. It's just a bit odd, really. So going towards Croydon that way, Suckham's Hill to Woldingham that way. Woldingham that way, A22 that way, Caterham that way. I'm standing right in the middle of Wapses Lodge roundabout. I'll put one of these Google Earth images up just to give you another view, because they're quite clever the way they're put together. So Wapses Lodge, 1st of May 1939, still going strong. At this point I hope I've picked the right exit. Pretty certain I have. I do wonder whether they expected more foot traffic. Most people come through here on a car or whiz by on the train. I'm pleased it's still here. You're not going to get rid of it, you're not going to fill it in. Yeah, I brought you the Wapses Lodge experience for your entertainment pleasure. I can't safely see it, but there's some drainage channel the other side of the fence there, because in past years, as I mentioned, there's been some extensive flooding in this area, so they put some controls in. I assume that's part of it, sort of drain, storm drain on steroids. Heading back now, and I'm not sure we're going to get too much of a change in the weather that would allow us to see the viaduct in its glory, but I'll film it anyway. Can still appreciate it, but it looks like the greyer clouds are kind of stopping the blue sky from shining through. But it's a lovely morning to be out for a walk, I would say. Funny, as you come round the corner from here, you've got no idea that the viaduct even exists. It's almost like a reveal when you turn the corner. Come on, son, you can do it. Just light up that brickwork. I've seen quite a few cyclists just in this short spell, going for a bit of exercise on a Thursday morning. So there we have it. Viaduct, Woldingham Road. Lovely. Marvel at it from a couple of angles, actually. Beautiful structure. The view of the drainage arrangements along here. Very low point, so I've learnt over the years that you have to do something, you have to manage it. Run off there from where it must come down the hill, and then hopefully go somewhere safe. What happened here? So a sign for the bend. The very sign indicating the bend has got a bend in it, where it's possibly been hit by a car that wasn't observing the fact that there was a bend. Observe this building from the other angle. Really quite special. Dean Studios, it says there, so some art is no doubt carried out there. And what a lovely location for it. A set of gates there. I do like gates and walls and gate posts. Here, the tree must be so old. You can see it's really pushed the wall out here. Potentially a bit of a hazard there. Lovely angle on the house there. So part of that house is the cafe, and I will be going in there very shortly. The sign said this way to the coffee shop, and here it is. So it just leaves me to say thank you for joining me once again on Phil's Walk and Talk. Hope you enjoyed the walk that never was, my unfinished business. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and join in on the comments, always good fun. In the meantime, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.